All right, I'm live. What's up, guys? So please let me know if you hear sound because I wasn't able to test this perfectly, and I'm trying out using an external mic and doing this via. Oh, it's kind of messy back there. Just noticed. Probably should have cleaned that up. Let's do. No, that's not going to help. All right. So yeah, I wanted to answer you guys' questions tonight. Talk about I don't know, my life, because that's something I usually do a little bit here on these things before we get into hair stuff. Give you an update on my hair, and so I'll wait a little while to show you kind of what that all looks like, where it's at. I'm getting actually some grays. I'm getting some gray hair. You can't really see here. Oh yeah, you can kind of see a few of them right there. But yeah, I'm starting to get some gray hair. It's actually pretty cool. I'm really excited about getting gray hair. I'm not excited about losing my hair, but getting gray hair is kind of exciting because actually the sort of salt and pepper look makes your hair look more dense. So if you're a hair transplant patient, you should actually really kind of look forward to that salt and pepper um, hair like look if that's something that's going to happen for you because the the like lack of contrast and the fact that you have like that white hair and that black hair, dark, brown hair, whatever it is, it actually adds to the illusion of more density. So even though I've only got a few gray hairs now, I'm actually really looking forward to having more gray hair and it being that salt and pepper thing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Plus, I don't know, I feel like the whole silver fox thing is kind of uh, I feel like that's kind of a look, you know? I kind of dig that look. So I don't think I'm gonna dye my hair. Yeah, it's not my that's not really what I'm going for. I think I'm gonna just go with the salt and pepper thing. Maybe if it all goes, like, super gray and I don't like it, maybe I'll dye it, maybe. I don't think so. I think I'll kinda dig the gray thing. I guess we'll just kinda see. We'll see. I'm not looking forward to my beard going gray at all. I'm not really looking forward to that. But, yeah, looking forward to the top, to the salt and pepper, because my hair will look even thicker at that point, which will be awesome. Um Okay, so let's talk about lawsuits because I put that in the title. And please comment. Can you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, I see there's now 8 people watching. Can you hear me? Please just type down there that you can hear me, please, because I didn't test this perfectly beforehand. Okay, cool. I guess Ryan can hear me. He's not letting me know, but hey David, just wondering how many grafts did you get for your third hair transplant, first FUT with Dr. McGrath? Oh man, I don't know because back then with a strip, and I think still with the strip, was charging by the, like, square centimeter of tissue actually extracted. So for FUE, he charges per graft, right? Because they're taking out individual grafts. But with the strip, I don't th I know back then he wasn't charging per graft. It was by square centimeter of tissue because and it kinda makes more sense to charge that way when you are, um when you're doing an FUT procedure. Thanks, Donnie, for letting me know, and Zach, that you can hear me. That appreciate that. Um, it kinda makes a little more sense to charge that way with an FUT procedure because you're not go like, how do I explain? There's gonna be a certain amount of tissue taken out, right? So, like, what if you decided to pay for, um I mean, I guess it's kinda the same with FUE a little bit, but not really. Um Let's say that you're gonna get like a 2,500 graft procedure, but then they take out, the strip and you actually have way more than average, hairs in there, right? Like, you're not gonna have them throw away the the grafts, like, really the work was, like, taking out the strip. I mean, that was, like, a big part of the work, just in the same way that, like, a big part of an FUE procedure is the extraction, and that's probably the most difficult part, right, is the extraction of each individual graft. I mean, of course, you then have placing the graft as well, but the extraction is kind of the more tedious part and generally more of what the surgeon himself is doing or herself is doing. Um, a lot of times, like, techs will place the grafts, right? Or the surgeon will make the individual slits and things like that. So, um, yeah, so some surgeons, when they're doing FUT in particular, they they will charge by the square centimeter of tissue that they're taking out, and, that's what he's doing back then. I'm not sure about now. So, I think oh, man, I think was saying I got approximately, if I remember correctly, this is now going by, like, 7 years ago, right? I think it was, like, 8,000 hairs in total. It was, like, 6 to 8,000 hairs in total. So, maybe we're looking at, like, 20 2,000, probably 2,500 grafts, probably something like that. That's my guess, something like 2,500 grafts. Yeah, from the first FET procedure. Sorry, that was a really ridiculously long answer. Hey, David, I was just wondering what people compare the pain of anesthesia shots to. Pain of anesthesia shots. I would compare it to, ooh, that's a good question. You know, there's nothing that I've ever done that I could really compare the pain of anesthesia shots. Actually, yes, there is, like regular shots. So, if you've had a COVID, jab, whatever, like, vaccine thing or a flu shot or whatever, I would say that it's, like, comparable to getting, like, a flu shot. I wouldn't say a bee sting. Ryan Whitman says a bee sting. Um, I don't think I would say that it's as painful as a bee sting for me. I've been stung by a few bees, and I don't find anesthesia shots as to be as painful as a bee sting. Um, Bee stings hurt pretty darn bad. Yeah, I guess it also depends where you're stung, so yeah, where you're stung um, and how, like, into you the bee gets the stinger and all that sort of thing. But I find it kinda similar to, like, a flu shot. Yeah, not too bad, but, so the other thing about the anesthesia shots is, the first ring that they do, or, like, the beginning is the most painful, right? Because you don't have any anesthesia in there at all. So, beginning is the most painful, but after that, um, it kind of becomes much less painful. Like, you don't feel it at a certain point. They're, still sticking you, but you don't really feel anything because the anesthesia is already in. Um, the other thing about it is that it's a little bit different is that you get, depending on what surgeon you go to, there's different kinds of medication and methods that surgeons will use when they're doing the anesthesia. And so generally, I feel pretty good, like, with Dr. McGrath, I know he used to do Valium. These days, I think he still does Valium, but then he also does, I can't remember. I know that he's doing, what's it called? Versed, yeah. So Versed is like, a relaxant, and it's like you pretty much sleep through the whole. It also really helps you sleep. So you pretty much sleep through the whole procedure. Like, pretty much everybody sleeps through the whole procedure with him because, of the Versed. Same with the Valium. Valium kind of knocks you out as well, but Versed does a better job of knocking you out. That said, Valium makes you just feel good, and puts you in a good mood. When I had and I'll get to all you guys' questions. When I had the beard transplant thing, or like beard, extractions. When I did that with Dr. Patrick Mwamba, he used something that was really, really fun. Um, it's it's like a laughing gas, type thing. But what's the technical term for it? Um, yeah, it's what people used to use. I actually looked it up afterwards because I was like, that was really fun. Um, and Yeah, apparently they used to do it at in parties in England and stuff like that, like back, like, I don't know, 100 years ago or more. They would have these, like, laughing gas parties. So, what's it called? It's, it's some normal kinda gas, but yeah, it's like a laughing gas basically, but it just makes you feel amazing. I mean, people have experiences where they say they almost feel like they're floating out of their own body and stuff like that. So I had this thing that I would suck on, and so when I would feel kind of the pain, I would suck on this stuff, and it's also dentists use it. I forget it now the name. Yeah, nitrous oxide. There you go. Yeah, thank you, Sohaib. Nitrous oxide. Yeah, it's awesome. So if you ever get the chance to take nitrous oxide in a legal way, give it a shot. Oh yeah, so we'll get into the lawsuit stuff in just a second. Doesn't have anything to do with hair. This It's all just kind of personal stuff. Doesn't have anything to do with hair stuff, but things that I've been learning about lawsuit stuff. So let me answer you guys questions, and if I have time, I'll try and get into this lawsuit thing. But yeah, it's not anyone suing me. It's me, learning about suing other people and doing all that kind of stuff. Um, Let me see here. Dermal 1.5 millimeter was wondering whether it hurt around that or like a vaccine shot. I don't find derma rolling really painful. Yeah, I don't find I do. I've just recently started derma rolling my face, and I don't really find it painful. I don't think derma rolling is supposed to be painful, but hey, maybe I'm not doing it right. My second FUT left me with very large scar, about half an inch. Any recommendations on doing FUE in the scar or any other opinion? Yeah, so you can do FUE in the scar. So I did this beard to FU like ET scar, but yeah, so some of the grafts took and some of them didn't. And I'm told that that's quite normal, that sometimes there's not good blood supply in the scar. And so especially the first round of grafts into the scar will will not take. And then typically the second round, because that surgery and also just working on the scar, so actually just like even not putting grafts in the scar, but actually just like using an FUE drill and just um punching the scar will actually, like, kind of causing a little bit more, like, direct trauma to the scar can help bring blood supply to the scar, and then, you know, you'll have a more successful transfer of FUE, into the FUT scar. So I would suggest maybe even before you ever get your FUE to FUT scar or surgery done, maybe getting someone or that surgeon or something like that to actually just work on the scar and not really do like a straight up surgery or something. I don't know. Or you will try and work something out to where if it doesn't grow, that they'll like do the scar maybe the second time for free if it doesn't grow the first time or something. Because like I said, one side of mine grew and the other side really didn't grow. And equal amount of grafts was put into both sides. Um, okay, what is the medical name for the minoxidil finasteride pill you take? There's not a medical name for it. More dates, more fiber. It's not a branded pill. So it's just made by a compounding pharmacy, Stonegate Pharmacy, and yeah, there's not like a name for it. You can get compounding pharmacies. They do like all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's actually a lot of people don't, like, realize, or I didn't until I started, like, getting, first the topical finasteride minoxidil combination that was made by a compounding pharmacy, and then I think it was Innovation Compounding, and then that there are these compounding pharmacies that can sort of compound and put together different drugs into various, pill forms and sell them to you, and as long as they're all legal to be taken, then and you're get it prescribed by a doctor, then, they can sort of do these other things that aren't necessarily available to the public as a branded thing. Let me see here. Danny Ball says, "Hey David, do you know who I could talk to about finding a good surgeon in Toronto, Canada?" I would talk to Steve Cook, my friend, about that. And I don't know anyone in Toronto. I know a bad surgeon in Toronto, but I don't personally know of anyone good in Toronto. Not saying that there isn't anyone. Uh, in Vancouver, Hassan and Wong, they're in Vancouver, so they're really reputable and really well, world renowned surgeons. So they're not far away. I guess they're at least that they're in Canada, but I don't know of anyone personally in Toronto. But stay away from, I would suggest plastic surgeons that also do hair transplants because I do know a guy in Toronto. I've actually done a video about him that, like, you know, offers transplants. Um, as a thing, and, yeah, I've talked to one of his patients, and there were, like, horror stories, like, I couldn't believe that, like, a person could keep their license and do the things that he did to her. Um, my anesthesia shots, old sergeant says, "My anesthesia shots were the most painful thing in my life. I had to take breaks in between." Wow. Um, yeah, sorry to hear that. Some of it comes down to the person who's giving you the shots. Different people are better at giving shots than other people. Like, it's definitely a skill. So it's funny because I had 3 surgeons during my surgery with Dr. Patrick Mwamba. I had 3 surgeons giving me shots, right? So it was Patrick Mwamba, Dr. Truett Bridges, and ooh, now I'm forgetting the 3rd guy, but it was a guy who's there training, and they all 3 gave me anesthesia shots, and there was, like, a very distinct difference in the pain that I was feeling from one surgeon to another giving me the shots, and, no offense to him, but the newest guy, the youngest guy who was training underneath him, like, it was obvious that, obviously more painful, like, I was like, "Oh, I'm feeling them a lot more when you're giving me the shots." So, there's definitely a skill to that, to giving shots. So he says one of the places I'm looking into uses IV sedation. I'm assuming IV sedated would be relatively painless. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I haven't had IV sedation, but I wouldn't say that um, IV sedation would be relatively painless. It's probably a similar type thing. Like Versed, is given to you with a shot, so it's sort of like an IV, in the sense that it's an injection and stuff goes into your system. Um, Yeah. So I think that as long as you're using something good or a combination of those things, then I think you should be fine. Yeah. Let me see. Do you think finasteride has stabilized your hair loss? I think that it has. I think especially this finasteride minoxidil pill that I'm using, I think it's stabilized my hair loss. Yeah, I'm definitely not noticing any since I got on it. And my hair has only gotten better. Did you have to use a rag or washcloth to get the scabs off? Jake says. No, I did not. I didn't use a rag or washcloth. Alexis Montoya says, "Thanks for giving me the courage to get a hair transplant." Oh, you're most welcome. That's super excited. Go for my first with Dr. McGrath and plan on getting my second. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome, Alexis. Yeah, congratulations. And that's my pleasure. That's why I do this channel is to give people courage and information. So that's awesome. Do you know if S&P will camouflage FUE with a bald fade? Do you know if S&P will camouflage FUE with a bald fade? If it's done really well, I think that it can. Yes. So well, my friend Josh, just sent me pictures the other day of his SMP. He got it done with a clinic in Milan. Apparently, it's one of the top clinics for SMP in the world. He's like, Josh has also had bad SMP, so he actually got SMP removed and SMP added. And yeah, he's got, like, a bald fade type thing. He's got, like, yeah, he does it, like, right down to the skin, and his SMP looked really good that he just got done with that clinic in Milan. I forget the name of the clinic, but I think if you look up, like, Italy, Milan, Italy, SMP, it'll probably come up or do a little research on that. Um, Insanity says, "You have oral minoxidil and finasteride formulated into one pill." Yes, I do. Yes, I take it in just, in one pill. That's, compounded by Stonegate Pharmacy and prescribed by, my surgeon, Dr. McGrath. Alright, let me see here. You're welcome, Sahib, for answering your questions. Ryan Whitman says, "I have a second FUT coming up and then have a big social event 3.5 months after. It's mostly a density boost in the hairline like yours was. Do you think it'll be noticeable?" No, I don't think 3.5 months after, I think you're gonna be totally fine. So, I shot a music video, um Like, it's on YouTube. It's called God of Wine. I'd love you to check it out. God of Wine, David Demusio. That's a YouTube, a music video that I shot 1 month after my last hair transplant. So I did use concealer in my hair for that music video. So I would say, if you wanna be just totally sure that it's gonna look its best, maybe, in case you have some shock loss or whatever, then get some Derm Match or some fibers or something like that. I think I just used Derm Match in my hair for that music video, but, I mean, that was 1 month after, and I had totally shaved my head because that was an FUE procedure. I gotta sneeze. So, yours at 3.5 months, which is an FUT procedure, so you don't really have to necessarily shave your head and all that, you're gonna be perfectly fine. Yeah. All right, awesome. You're welcome, Danny. Cool. So I don't have any more questions at the moment till we get some more. I'll probably just do like maybe 30 minutes on here. Got a lot of guitar practice to do tonight. Yeah, so let's talk about lawsuit stuff because why not? Man, I've been learning a lot about lawyers and lawsuits and things like that over the past few years. And the first the first people I made like a claim against was some tenants, and they really messed up one of my houses. And this was sort of my first experience with ever getting a judgment against a person, and so they really destroyed one of my, like, not destroyed, but kind of, they caused a lot of damage to one of my houses, and they didn't pay me rent for a few months. And so I got a judgment against this guy. I won the judgment in court for $8,000. And so I had spent probably close to $2,000, around $2,000 just in attorney's fees, to get the judgment and everything. I had to go to court like 2 times. And, yeah, I thought, "Okay, cool. Well, that was, like, good amount of work, but now we've won the judgment for $8,000." So it's America, we like, justice prevails or whatever. And yeah, about 2 weeks later, the guy who we won the judgment against, before we could garnish any wages, or collect from his, anything like that, um, he filed bankruptcy, and the whole judgment got wiped out. So he then had to pay me $0. So now I'd done all this work, collected my judgment for the, property he destroyed of mine, and rent he hadn't paid me, and paid an attorney $2,000, and I got $0. That was my first experience. That was about, like 2 to 3 years ago. So, oh, thanks for listening to God of Wine, man. Awesome vocals and video production. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you liked it. All of you guys, check it out. God of Wine, please. Music video. I did all the production on it, and yeah, that's filmed at a cemetery, like, just I don't know, a few blocks from my house, basically. Um, yeah, so then next judgment I got, uh, was against some more people, the tenants, the same type of deal on another property, and they messed up my house pretty bad. They didn't pay rent for a long time, and so went to court, paid an attorney. I don't know, probably that time it was a little bit less, maybe like $1,200, and just won this judgment. And I thought, okay, well, I don't think these guys are gonna file bankruptcy just based on, like, um, I guess they could. Yeah, they could, but I was kind of hoping, okay, please don't file bankruptcy, guys. And so won the judgment, and I realized, like, okay, they don't have a bank account, and they don't have any assets, so I can't, like, take money out of their bank account. There's no assets that I can seize, and yeah, the only thing I can do is garnish their wages. And the guy, I'm pretty sure he's an alcoholic. He loses his job like every few months. That's something I noticed already while he was living in my house. And don't worry, I'm getting better at picking tenants. And overall, I have a lot of houses and lots of tenants, and all the rest are awesome. It's only these two tenants that I've ever had to get judgments against. And yeah, so the problem was, like, garnishing his wages, like, to find actually where he works, and it takes a while to show up in skip trace and all this kinda stuff. even where he works. And then the other option is then I have to hire a private investigator to try and find where he works to garnish the wages. But then I have to pay the private investigator a lot of money. So, um, yeah, I just kind of like I realized already from going down these small judgment roads that like winning in court uh, and being in the right and all that stuff like that, it doesn't always like actually help you at all. So, um, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'll show my crown. I will get into like the rest of the stuff. So there's another lawsuit going on, and I've already spent tens of thousands of dollars on an attorney. This is a much bigger one. That I'm I've got a person who owes me a lot of money, and yeah, it's just so the attorney actually was not. I don't think was doing um, the correct job and overcharging me and a lot of different things. And I've already filed with the which took a lot of work also, with what they call that, the bar. Yeah, the bar association, like lawyers bar. I've already filed a complaint against them, and they did a lot of things that according to AmericanBar.org, which I've looked up, are not things that you should do in a case. So, and I'm like, well over $10,000 into this with attorney's fees. So I started like learning a little bit about law myself actually. And I went to Nashville Law Library and started reading up on law. It's very complicated. And I started thinking, man, like these are things that like you should be taught in high school, like basic law and how to file a claim, because these are things otherwise you're gonna have to spend thousands of dollars paying attorneys to do. And it's not really that complicated if you know how to do it. So, yeah, I've been educating myself a lot in those kind of ways. So, yeah, that's kind of that. Um, there's a little bit more, but I think maybe I'll wait a little while for that. I've also got a crazy story about a car chase. I don't know if I should share that though. That might be in a future video. Yeah, like literally like a Born Identity action movie car chase. It's like the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Um, so yeah, I'll share that maybe in like the next video. So make sure to ring the notification bell. Um, no more questions. Oh yeah, sorry. So let me show my crown and all that sort of stuff. So here we are. Um, side and sorry, the quality is not that great with my webcam. Let's do this. Don't worry, I'm getting to the crown, okay? I wanna actually know from you guys. I never look at my crown, so how's it looking? Can you guys let me know? Is that a good shot? Yeah, you can see. Okay, good. So that's my crown. Oh, let me do like a top down kinda deal. Let me know how this looks because I never see my crown. Like, probably should get like a phone or something and like do that, but I just never even think to. Okay, so there's the back, and here's like straight. Here's that position. All right. So what do you think, guys? How does it look? Is it getting better? Oh, it says look great. Looks great. Okay, that's awesome. Yay. Yeah, so I definitely think I've been a slow grower with this latest hair transplant. I think I'm like a slow grower, but I do just now like start feeling like okay, it is coming in, but I don't think I really hardly had any growth at least to like 3.5 months. So right now I'm at 5 months, and I think it was about 3.5 months where I started noticing like a few little hairs. Um, do I use any? No, I don't have any product in my hair, like, right now, 0, no gel, no fibers, no anything. It's, like, nothing in my hair. Um, yeah, I would always tell you guys, oh, thanks, Brian. Yeah, he says, yeah, I think that, I don't think I've gotten much growth in my hair and my crown yet, just kinda me feeling it, like, I'm not like, here in the front, I'm noticing, like, more you can feel it with your with your fingers, and you can feel, you know, if it just feels thicker. And I'm not like noticing as much, but I think it's just started to come in. Vinsanity says, "Did you notice a big improvement since adding oral minoxidil versus just finasteride?" Yes, I definitely noticed an improvement when I started taking that pill, the oral minoxidil, oral finasteride combo pill. I started noticing definitely different. And thanks, Kelly. Says looks great. So Mr. Walter says doesn't look bad, man. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy. Like I think this last transplant, once it all grows in, I think it's gonna be pretty great. Like, I mean, I look in the mirror every day and go, what the heck? Like, I should be bald, you know? Like, I should be bald, and instead, I have, like, a pretty great looking head of hair. It's kinda ridiculous. So, thank you, God, for letting me be born and, um, you know, at this time. Can't imagine what's gonna be like 100 years from now when I'm dead. Like, people living in the metaverse and all that kinda stuff. It's gonna be wild. Or maybe in Mars, what'll be available. Yeah, you just think of, like, the last 100 years. Not even the last 100 years, think of the last like, 20 years ago, there was no iPhone, you know? Like, 20 years ago 17, so let me think, or 16 or yeah, 20 years ago, I don't think there was any social media, no social media. I don't think FUE was a thing yet. Um, no iPhone for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's kinda crazy. Yeah, 20 years ago, like, no, I don't think there was any social media. Not any social media that, like, anybody could really seem to use, as a thing. Like, 'cause I think I was about 19 when, like, MySpace really hit, which was the first pretty big one. I know Friendster was around before that, but I never had Friendster, and, um, yeah, it's just crazy the way the last 20 years things have changed, so, um Sir Walter says, "All I'm gonna say is thank you for this channel." Aw, thank you so much. That means a lot. Because of you, I got in touch with Steve, and he's such a great and helpful man that saved me from making a mistake. Aw, dude, so happy to hear that. So happy to hear that. Shackle Smack said, "Hey, I had my FUE from Dr. McGrath in August. Worried about density. Does he have a track record of good it's a transection. You're saying transaction, but sorry, it's transection. That's why I'm having a hard time reading your word because I'm like, do I say the correct word or what you wrote? Yeah, transection. I think you're going to be fine. Yeah, yeah. Just wait. You said August. Yeah, I mean, my hair is like just now kind of coming in, and I had mine in June. So you're like, you're kind of too early to the party. I get written basically every day by guys, and they're like, "Hey, I'm at like 2 months after my hair transplant, or 3 months, or whatever, or 4 months, whatever it is." And they're like, "Hey, I'm so worried, like, but I don't know if my hair is gonna grow and all this kind of stuff." Like, you can't worry about that. The best thing to do after a hair transplant, I know you're not gonna do this, but the best thing to do is not think about your hair for at least 9 months, Um, preferably a year, because then you'll have a pretty good idea. But, at least 9 months, because, like, so I haven't been thinking about my hair. I mean, everybody has that thing, like, I have the same thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, "Is it all gonna grow?" Like, maybe it's not. Maybe I worry about things because I've had so many surgeries, like, do I have enough blood supply up there to, like, support new hairs growing in? Like, these things do cross my mind, but I have to tell myself, like, it's a waiting game, you know? Um, you just wait. So I think you're gonna be fine because everybody goes through the same thing. Wait 9 months, then start thinking about new things, but, um, you're gonna be fine. Cool, guys. Well, I'm gonna head out. It's 34 minutes into this, and, it's been fun hanging out with all of you, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Oh, there's an audio delay. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'll work on that for next time.